Good day, my viewers, and good day, Nigerians. Welcome to the studio, Gampi Studio, and Radio TV. On today's program, Truthline, we shall focus on the issue at hand, the issue that bothered everybody, the issue that the whole world focus on. We will not keep quiet until we get it right. Nigeria is bigger than those who feel the law is in their pocket, the appointees is in their pocket, that it can change the channel to their taste. But however, Nigeria is not meant to be like that. No country develop with that kind of character. So we must put light on every issue, particularly the issue that has to do with the national issue that affects everybody. With me in the studio is Dr. Yusuf Absalam Kekere, a public affairs analyst, a man whose knowledge cut across every sector. Even though he's a doctor, medical doctor by profession, he has that wide knowledge of dealing with issues that concern everybody and everything that has to do with Nigeria. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let's go to the point, sir, in a few minutes.
Okay.
Doctor, sir, let's call it what it is. Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. This office is saddled with responsibility, with a rules that guide them. They have a mandate from the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are with their rules. They read it and they follow to detail when it comes to conducting election. And they call them umpire. However, whenever they conduct election, people run to court that the election is not properly conducted. In some cases, when INEC issue certificate of return, in court will overrule it. Please, can you take us through the journey of this first point? Who is actually the umpire? Is it INEC or the court?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here once again. When you say the umpire of an electoral procedures, in reality, the umpire is the INEC. But when there is electoral infractions and a wrong person is announced and certificate of return is given to, and the people who feel they have been challenged by their mandate in a wrong manner, wrongs to the court, and the court now overruled the intention or the initial pronunciation of the INEC, then the INEC automatically has become a player in one of the electoral party. By extension, INEC, by function, are the umpire. But when they become an extended part of the electoral team or electoral party, political party, automatically you don't expect them to announce the real winner.
Okay.
So when you go to the court and the court fail to provide a substantiated legal procedure to overrule the pronunciation of the INEC, then there is a bilateral failure. The INEC has failed, the judiciary has failed. So this bilateral failure culminates into what we call a systematic failure. So to me, umpire is the INEC. When they fail, it has forgotten his mandate for a superior instruction. And when the judiciary fails, he fails or it fails because the electoral technicalities has buried the legal justice that should prevail.
All right, thank you so much for that response, sir. Do you think INEC is doing their job right? Just in one word.
Yes, INEC is doing their job right.
Do you think court is doing their job right?
Relatively, not an absolutism. Because we have people, as you rightly said, that can pocket the law, pocket the mandate, pocket everything that is meant to be a national guideline.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for that good response, Doctor. Then the second issue is in 1999 Constitution, as amended, INEC is pronounced as independent. That is in their job. In another word, the same country, Nigeria says, he who paid the piper dictates the two. And by INEC action in recent issue, particularly the issue of pre-election issue, their pronouncements or the pronouncement of the overall head of INEC, where she said, whatever you see as a result of INEC job in 2027 election, this is not my statement. This is from him. It's recorded. It's in the word. He didn't have recorded it. So, is INEC doing umpire or INEC is dictating the two of the person who paid as a piper?
Okay, let me begin by responding. There's a theory called a replacement therapy. When you say a replacement therapy, for you to lose, something is being replaced by the normal. For you to win, something is always being replaced by the normal. So when you win, you have replaced something. When you lose, you have also replaced something. In Nigeria of today, people don't just go by their mandate, they go by their benefactor. Your employer, your payer will dictate everything to their tune. Because if you don't do, there is going to be a negative feedback of initial mandate that is vested in the jurisdiction where you act. By doing so, the mandate of the INEC is being vitiated by the payer, the employer. So if your payer is not winning the election, your employer is not winning the election, definitely, except you don't want to stay long in that office, you must do one kind of infraction to make sure the tune favors your employer and the payer.
Thank you so much, Doctor. You see, this leads me to the next question. When you say you must do one kind of infraction, to me, you are referring to magic. This magic sometimes comes from INEC. Secondly, from courts. Nigerians are suggesting that should INEC and court should be merged together as one institution when it comes to election. What is your stake?
It can never be so. Because in every country, there is segregation of mandates. We have the judiciary system, we have executive, and then we have the judiciary, the executive, the legislative. So, in the normal environment, a democratically viable country, there is no way a judiciary becomes a supposedly an umpire in the electoral procedures.
Okay, by this response now, INEC that is pronounced umpire after conducting an election, and they claim that they have followed all the procedures required of them to conduct election, then one of the political want to drag the opposition to court, also drag INEC to court. The INEC who is umpire will not stand before the court to defend what they have claimed by their responsibility to conduct, and they swear to admit that they have conducted the election as stipulated by their rules. I'm asking the question again. That is it not better INEC and judiciary should march together as one office, so that whenever INEC conduct election, before announcement, Judiciary look at it. So that they won't have to go and stand before judiciary and defend their job again.
Okay. Do you want me to respond to this?
Yes.
Very good. Let me explain this or analyze this by saying during election, INEC hold the responsibility of conducting the election, irrespective of the winner or the loser. In the Electoral Act, to the test of law, it is whether you win or you lose. Even the voters in the field or in the act of election can determine the dimension the election is taking. If at the end of the day, like in your polling unit, for instance, you know the results before you leave the electoral ground, and then to your greater disappointment, you now heard that there is an overturn of results. The next thing that comes to you is to run to court to seek the help of judiciary. So if you imagine it, that means there will be no proper conduction of after election procedures. When I mean after election procedures, immediately after election, there is counting of votes. Then where you subtract or you delete the vote, the vote that doesn't count. Now, if you merge judiciary and INEC together, you are compressing the aftermath of election procedure into one pocket. So the voters will not have that mind to trust which one is faulting the election and which one is correcting the error.
Now, let me ask this question, sir. Doctor, in a situation where INEC fail and judiciary fail, let's not go by the separation, okay? Or let's go by joining together. Court has its own rules and procedure.
Yes.
INEC has its own rules and procedure.
Okay.
So whenever INEC has conducted an election, after election, people go to court. The next thing is to bring the INEC procedure to the court for review. But whenever there is electoral procedure amendment, judiciary is not being involved. It is legislative that amend the INEC Act. But after election, it is judiciary that will look at INEC Act. It is not a failure.
Thank you very much. You see, the judiciary, as you rightly mentioned, they follow their legal procedure with evidence-based presentation. Yes, they may not be part of the electoral amendment. They are not supposed to be part of the electoral amendment. What they stand for is correction of the abnormal. When you present your case to the court, what comes first is cross-examination of the electoral materials. Vis-a-vis, if there's any scenario that's been recorded during the election, which is going to be part of a supportive supportive material for investigations. So at the end of the day, when the judiciary wants to deliver their verdict, their judgment, they look at it as when they examine the conduct of election. They have nothing to do with electoral amendments.
All right, sir.
And if these two fails, you look at, instead of electing the people that can actually manage the affair of the country, it ends up like coronating the people that the INEC and the judiciary have collectively nominated, when it should be the other way around.
Okay, now, what is the fate of Nigerians? By this way, $90,000 go to polling units. Okay. To vote. 30 people were appointed to collect the results and announce. People go to court. 3 to 5 man panel sit to review it. Then we complain about the electoral procedure. We also complain about judicial outcome. What is the fate of ordinary Nigerian? When election is conducted by the participation of 90,000 people, 100,000 people, 2 million people, and 30 are appointed to collect the result and announce it. 5 people is selected to look at the review from the complaint. Both fail. What a group of other Nigerians.
Thank you very much. Permit me to use one word which we call empathy. Empathy. Empathy is when you have no interest in the election or in anything that has to do with you involved in, but you don't have interest into it. In a situation where hundreds of thousands of voters go to ground and electoral grounds to cast their vote, and at the end of the day, very few people is elected. You see that a political party that is registered by INEC is not represented where the counting of results is being conducted. So, in a situation like this, people lack their interest for representing themselves, for representing where they come from, for franchising their rights drops drastically, because it becomes a waste of energy, a waste of time, a waste of attention, a waste of interest at the end of the day when you are not being correctly represented.
Doctor sir, what is our hope?
That's what I'm saying. Our hope, there is a drop in interest. It is almost no hope.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Doctor, the last question, so that I won't take much of your time for today.
Okay.
Then just look at going to court now as mockery. Now just look at democracy as a failed system of government. Where do Nigerians go to? Hence, we are still practicing democracy. And the only means of electing leader is through an electoral platform. With the failure, we go to court. People are now looking at judiciary as a mockery. Nigerians are looking at judiciary as the first system of government. Nigerians are also looking at the military aspect of governance as being too harsh to their body, to the way of life. What is your advice? It's a final word.
Thank you very much. In one statement, let me say it is by ethical revitalization. What I mean by ethical revitalization is, as an INEC, for instance, that is holding the mandate of conducting the election, you know what to do to make the election free and fair. When there is an infraction or a suspected infraction to have taken place in the act of voting, and a political party representative rush to the court, they don't just go to the court to present their grievances, electoral grievances. They go to the court for things to be corrected. And when the judiciary fails them too, of course, there is an ethical foundation for judiciary. So does INEC. Even the voters, there is a guideline, there are guidelines where we operate. So if this failure has enveloped all segments of electoral act, then we go back to ethical revitalization. In a way, voters doesn't know their right. We make them know their right. The INEC, one way or the other, by instruction from a superior body or from their employer, from their payer, they should be made to know why they are there, the ethics, the foundation, and the mandate that they have to operate on.
Thank you so much, sir. By this word, like I said earlier, the question thrown to you is, whose INEC dictating the tool? Whose responsibility to educate Nigeria? Is it by the same person whose tool is dictated, or an independent body like, let's say for instance, NOA, National Orientation Agency?
Thank you.
Is it the responsibility? Is it the responsibility of a department in INEC on voters' education? Is it a department in judiciary that should be created to educate Nigeria the importance of judiciary, the how well they can run to court and get that confidence that the court is there for them? We even know and know as a fact that running to court does not mean that we are right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. They got to look at the material before them and decide. All right. So I'm looking at that. Is it by drawing the attention of the National Decision Agency
That's what I'm heading to.
to educate Nigerians,
Yes.
particularly the issue of election, or that department in INEC of voters education and the process of going to come to polling unit, or a department in judiciary that has to do with educating Nigeria about the importance of coming to court when there's an issue. In 1 minute, sir.
Thank you very much. The INEC, to me, as a suggestion, does not hold the responsibility of educating Nigerians because their interests can be bought. The judiciary also does not hold the mandate to educate Nigerians. The National Orientation Agency, as a separate body from INEC and judiciary, should hold the responsibility of telling Nigerians, you're right, what needs to be done, the done and the don't. And then the INEC, let me tell you, there are a lot of staff of INEC who doesn't see INEC as a true representation of electoral act.
Thank you so much, Doctor. In case you are wondering, Nigeria, this is still Gampu Radio and TV, and the program is Truth Line. We are waiting for you on your review, your response. We are here to serve you. Your complaint is before us, and we bring it to the public. We present someone who is competent enough to educate you, give you that confidence that Nigeria is still Nigeria. This is our home. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.